Hey everybody, had my mic on mute there. Sorry about that. If you're watching, give me a thumbs up. Hey everybody, had my mic on mute there. Sorry about that. If you're watching, give me a thumbs up. Okay, had a little feedback there. I just wanted to come on here and try to test out a bunch of my equipment here. Just got my podcast studio equipment set up so I can live stream through it. So just checking to see how it sounds and how everything is. Playing with the sound effects here. Who do I have in the room? Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm gonna get anybody to show up this morning. Had a couple enter the room for a minute. All right. I'm gonna play a little bit of my intro music for my my podcast. Welcome to Stories of Sacrifice, World War II American POW-MIA's podcast. The voice of the missing in action and the voice of those buried as unknowns in our national cemeteries. I'm your host and lead researcher, John Bear. Yeah, so if you haven't watched our podcast or listened to our podcast yet, in interviews I do with POW-MIA families from World War II, the link's down in the description of the video. Of those, over 30,000 are currently listed as active pursuit by the Defense POW-MIA Accounting Agency. Active pursuit meaning they could possibly be identified with the proper family reference sample DNA being on file with the Armed Forces DNA Identification Laboratory at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. The process of donating DNA reference material is easy, painless, and free of charge. If you are the relative of a missing service member, you can contact the Service Casualty Office of the MIA for information on how to provide a DNA sample. The Service Casualty Office will mail to your home a DNA donor kit that contains a donor consent form, instruction form, 3 cheek swabs, and a shipping envelope. All you have to do is fill out the paperwork, rub the inside of your cheek with the swabs, place the swabs back into the containers, and affix the label. The collected samples are then placed in a pre-addressed and prepaid envelope and then mailed to the Armed Forces DNA Identification Lab at Dover. That's it. It's a completely painless process. To get more information about your missing in action relative, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me good. Good morning. I'm just testing out all my equipment here and trying to get everything going. I didn't want to do this while everybody else is live streaming in the evening, so I thought this would be a good time to get things rolling, just to see if I can get this equipment to work good. I'm using my podcast studio equipment to do this live stream with. So I've got my mixing board set up. It's a Rode Procaster Pro, so I got sound effects and all kinds of funny stuff I can play with. Can you hear me all right out there? Give me a thumbs up or type in the chat if you would, please. Let me know who's in here. I'm trying to watch myself on the YouTube side of it. There's quite a bit of a delay. If you can't see behind me right here, that's my puppy dog, Capone. Let's see here. Let me test out some of the sound effects off my podcast board here. How about the ship's bell? Ooh, that's loud. Yeah, I'm going to be using this setup here too to start doing family interviews with my podcast Story of Sacrifice, where I interview World War II POW-MIA families, and I kind of go through and get the history of the of the POW, and then we learned about how he passed away and where he died at, and the circumstances surrounding still being missing in action. Majority of these families that I interview, the service member of the POW was died in a POW camp and then was buried as an unknown in one of our national cemeteries. So there we go. How's it going? Good morning, Art of our RVN. Good to have you in here. I'm just testing out all this equipment here that I have for my podcast and working it through and doing it for live stream, and it's kind of working out good, it sounds like. Can you hear me real good? There we go. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I got a little background noise in it going here, or at least I can hear background noise, and it's my heater. I'm up here in Colorado, and it's still chilly outside, so I've got the electric heater rolling in here. Yeah, this mixer board that I've got here, sorry about that. There's a bit of a delay. This mixer board that I have, it's got like 500 gigs of memory that's stored in the board, so I can actually put the sound effects into it, and I just hit a button and it'll play the sound effect. I can control the volume and all that stuff on it too. It's pretty interesting. Like this is going to be like the ship's bell. I figured I could load some pretty good sounds in here and do little games with it, like guess that sound. And it seems like everything's working pretty good here. I didn't know how well it would work with live streaming, but it's working really good. I appreciate you joining me this morning, the art of RVN. You're my first guest on the live, or my first watcher on the live stream, so I sure appreciate it. Oh, Capone? Yeah, he looked like a gangster type of a puppy, so I named him Capone just because of that. So we have he's an old English bulldog is what his breed is. So he's just a little bit taller than the English bulldogs, and then we have my wife's got a little Frenchie that she just Frenchie's about a year old, and she named her Kinsey. I don't know if I got a good picture of Kinsey or not here. See if I can pull it up and learn how to do this screen share. Yeah, looks like I got a bit of a lag there. Oh, that's good to know. No background noise. Good. Thank you very much. Here we go. See if I can do the screen share thing that everybody does. Okay. There it is. There we go. That's Capone. Well, we've been getting down. It's not chilly here in Texas. We've been getting down down to, well, it's kind of been warming up since the 1st of March. We were averaging probably about 15, 20 degrees. I'm in western Colorado. I'm over here outside of Grand Junction, right on the Utah border. So we're you probably know where Moab, Utah is. I'm about an hour's drive from Moab. But now it's kind of been warming up. We're probably getting about 60 degrees during the day, but it's been dipping down to the high 20s at night. The soundboard actually hooks up into my computer just through a USB connection. So everything's done through the it's the Rodecaster Pro is what it's called. And it just hooks up through the USB. All my mics and everything else is just, hooked into the board itself. But it's a nice little all-in-one. I can actually record the audio through the board, the whole 9 yards. It's like an all-in-one little system. And when I start doing these interviews and stuff that video interviews for my YouTube channel, I can actually run a cord between the Rodecaster Pro and into my camera, and I can actually record through my camera. Mobile. I won't have to have a computer with me at all. Oh, there's Kinsey. Yeah, what kind of dog do you have? There we go. I'm back. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at seeing what kind of lag I have here. It's pretty good lag between StreamYard and YouTube. That's interesting. And that's how you show it. Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, forgot about the scroll. The StreamYard's fairly easy or fairly simple to use. I'm gonna have to start using it some more here. Maybe I'll get the paid service. Okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna try to play this introduction type of. It's my intro on my podcast. I'm gonna try to play it through here and see how it sounds here. Like I said, I'm gonna try to use this setup here to do video interviews with my guests on my podcast. Welcome to Stories of Sacrifice, World War II American POW-MIA's podcast. The voice of the missing in action and the voice of those buried as unknowns in our national cemeteries. I'm your host and lead researcher, John Bear. Oh yeah, that's sounding good. Over 75,000 service members are still listed as missing in action from World War II. Of those, over 30,000 are currently listed as active pursuit by the Defense POW-MIA Accounting Agency. Active pursuit meaning they could possibly be identified with the proper family reference sample DNA being on file with the Armed Forces DNA Identification Laboratory at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. The process of donating DNA reference material is easy, painless, and free of charge. If you are the relative of a missing service member, you can contact the Service Casualty Office of the MIA for information on how to provide a DNA sample. The Service Casualty Office will mail to your home a DNA donor kit that contains a donor consent form, instruction form, 3 cheek swabs, and a shipping envelope. All you have to do is fill out the paperwork, rub the inside of your cheek with the swabs, place the swabs back into the containers, and affix the label. The collected samples are then placed in a pre-addressed and prepaid envelope. That sounds pretty good. Armed Forces DNA Identification Lab at Dover. That's it. It's a completely painless process. To get more information about your missing in action relative, that's pretty cool. Yeah, another thing that you can do too is you can actually play anything on your laptop, any audio, and the audio will come through the board too. And so like if you want to do like sound effects off of whatever, not actually have them in the mixer board, you can actually play it through the computer itself, and it'll still go through the board through the USB connection. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll do the same thing and load the video clips in too for my live intros as well. I gotta start working on all that stuff this week. Alrighty. Well, I think I got everything down here. I'm gonna go ahead and end the broadcast. And again, the Art of RVing, I really appreciate you coming in here and giving me some good feedback on how everything's sounding and how it looks and how it's working here. Yeah, it's I think this is gonna work out pretty good for me. And again, I really, really appreciate you coming in and doing that. Well, you have a good day, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the broadcast, and we'll see you on some other live streams. Talk to you later.